We've been covering it throughout the program today with both businesses and trade leaders warning against the closure of the southern border as the Homeland Security Secretary has ordered a surge of agents there. So we want to talk about that. Former ICE Senior Attorney John Gihon is starting us off with his analysis. And, you know, we know, John, to talk about the border, that, and this has been acknowledged, we played a soundbite from President Obama's Secretary of Homeland Security, Jay Johnson, last hour. He says, you know, this is a crisis. The numbers are really rough. The president wants something to get done about it. He's warned. He says, I may close this thing down this week. A lot of people say, boy, be careful there because there's some economic risk. A lot of trade, daily basis between the U.S. and Mexico. What's your take?
That's absolutely right, Connell, and thanks for having me back on. Closing the border is an absolute last-ditch effort and a huge mistake to do in a situation like this because it's not going to solve the problems. The president has learned that he can't stop the influx of migrants coming in from Central America and from Mexico by simply changing the asylum processes and changing the rules. He's been shut down by the federal courts on a regular basis. So he says, fine, I'm going to close the entire border down and I'm going to make everybody very, very, very uncomfortable unless we come up with a solution to this. Maybe Congress will act. Maybe Mexico will get in gear. Maybe the three countries where most of these migrants are coming from will get their act together and solve these problems where they begin. And that's really what I think the president's trying to do.
Yes.
Because I don't think shutting down the border is ever going to work.
We've been flashing along with some of the numbers on the side of the screen as the two of us have been talking, and they show exactly what I was talking about. You know, $1.7 billion, I believe it is, according to the Chamber of Commerce, back and forth on a daily basis between the U.S. and Mexico. It's a lot of trade. So to your point, and to the point of many others, there is a risk here, and it may hurt us more than it helps us. Now, the other argument is, and someone was making this last hour, they say, you know what, Mexico would be hurt more, we've got to do something. So what do you say to people who say, nothing else has worked, and I'm willing to take a hit on this in terms of the economy because of the larger cause? What's a better option?
Well, I think that this is a beginning of a negotiation point. Mexico has to stop the transit of individuals coming from Central America into the United States. They have to stop them and not allow them to go through Mexico for this to work because our asylum laws are extremely generous. Our border is extremely porous. And we do allow many people to come into the country who have a small chance of winning their asylum cases. We just do that. That's what our laws say. Right. And so we have to change our laws, and we have to address this problem from the source, and that's how we're going to ultimately change all of this. Cutting off aid to the three countries, to Honduras and to El Salvador and to Guatemala, that's a good start to at least get them moving into action to solve the problem.
So you like that? Because so that doesn't hurt us as much, say, as this would, right? So you like that approach?
No, absolutely not.
So that
I do like that
something
approach because that's the beginning.
Yeah. Okay, so what do you think happens next here?
Well, I think that this will get Mexico to kick into gear, and I believe it has already, and they're changing their visa transit process where they're not going to allow individuals who don't have visas to just go through Mexico to make it to the United States. Listen, our country should allow in people who are fleeing from violence and from desperate situations. However, we simply can't handle the numbers that we're looking at right now. You've seen the photos from El Paso where people living under the bridge downtown because we have no place else to put people so that we can process them, make sure that they have the food, make sure they have the health care, make sure that they have everything they need in order to be safe in this country. We cannot handle the numbers that we're dealing with right now. We have to solve this problem, and cutting off aid to the Central American countries is a good start. Getting Mexico to help us and partner is the next move.
All right, El Salvador, Guatemala, and Honduras, those three countries. So good idea, says John Gihon there. Closing down the whole border, not worth it in terms of the economics. Thank you, sir. It's good to talk to you. Let's get into this a little